We got keys to victory for Friday and a couple of injury concerns for your Detroit Lions.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Here we go, everybody. What's happening? It's a Friday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. Matt Dery with you on a Friday, September 15th and a Saturday, September 16th. Just 2 days away from the home opener down at Ford Field. So much excitement just brewing in this town as the Lions try to get to 2-0 as they'll bring in the Seattle Seahawks. Matt Dery with you, as I said before. Follow us on Twitter at Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions. The Matt Dery Facebook fan page, on Threads at The Real Matt Dery, and also please subscribe to our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Follow us, watch us for free each and every day on YouTube. Locked On Lions today, proudly brought to you by our friends at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed at Gametime. Coming up on the program today, we got some keys to victory. Lions and Seahawks. This will not be an easy game. And oh, by the way, Vegas had the Lions opening up as a 5.5-point favorite for Sunday. The spread now is down to 4.5 over the 0-1 Seahawks. We'll talk about some keys that I see for the Lions to get a win against Seattle. In case you missed yesterday, Corbin Smith from Locked On Seahawks was with us. So if you did not get a chance to check out the crossover, please do that. Some injury concerns certainly to get into today. And also, Dan Campbell spoke today about the ski mask situation. All right. Dan Campbell siding with me from what I said on Wednesday. So there you go. Got to give a shout to some of our everydayers out there. My guy, Alf Mike Vanderpool, Heart of a Lions fan, gave me this shirt. If you've not seen the movie Heart of a Lions fan, just Google it, find it, YouTube or wherever. It's amazing. So shout out to Mike. Also, Ian Castleberry, now of Sports Illustrated and SI Now. Awesome writer, great media writer. Ian told me he was an everydayer. And the great Patrick J. Marody of Financial Architects, Inc. Empower your financial freedom with Pat Marody. That's my company as well. Financial Architects, Inc. Pat was listening to the program today. So shout out to him as well. All right, so Friday designations, injuries. This is where we find out about key members of each team. As of recording right now, the Seahawks have not put out their injury designations, but we know Charles Cross and Abe Lucas, the left and right tackles for the Seahawks, are not going to play this Sunday, and that is just a giant advantage that I'm going to get to in a minute for the Lions. But something happened today in the Dan Campbell press conference, which was sort of a curveball. He announced that Josh Paschal, who I thought played a really good game last Thursday night against the Chiefs, playing the inside, the outside, and on the defensive line, had a little ailment or injury with his leg in practice yesterday and is not going to play. He's been ruled out of Sunday's game for the Lions. What does this mean for the D-line? Well, the Lions have a couple of options. Number one, Isaiah Buggs can be elevated. Remember, last week he was a healthy scratch and was inactive. And also Romeo Okwara, who was an inactive on Thursday, could also come up. So we'll see what the Lions do along that defensive line and how they want to work that. Khalil Dorsey also is going to be out. He's got an illness and has not practiced. So the Lions, one of their backup defensive backs and their kick returner, not that anybody returns kicks anymore. The kicks all go out of the back of the end zone. But Khalil Dorsey is going to be out. So we'll see how the Lions finagle the roster a little bit. But Paschal being out, it hurts. It hurts because he's just so versatile, can line up outside, can line up inside, just like John Kaminsky, but he makes plays. All Josh Paschal has done since he's been out there, starting last season against Dallas, is be disruptive. So knee injury or leg injury, something that Dan Campbell doesn't think is serious, but already been ruled out of Sunday's game. So again, opportunity. There's depth on this roster. Isaiah Buggs, Romeo Okwara have both been starting players for this organization. Now they come off the bench and they can help, and they're both good players. So that's a good sign. Taylor Decker is listed as doubtful, so it's highly unlikely that he's going to play on Sunday, which means the Lions could go with a lot of different combinations. They could swing Vaitai out to tackle, move Sewell over to left tackle and put Glasgow at right guard. They could have Matt Nelson play left tackle and just keep one spot there. A lot of different options, but Taylor Decker is a really good football player. And so this one hurts that he's not, he's doubtful. So he's likely not going to play Sunday against Seattle. So maybe that's one of the reasons why the line went from 5.5 to 4.5, maybe with the emergence of Devin Witherspoon, who didn't play last week against the Rams. Now he plays this week. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but a full swing of a point. I would have thought that the Lions going from 5.5 would have gone up to 6.5 with the news of Lucas and Cross. But instead, according to our friends at FanDuel, the line has gone from 5.5 down to 4.5 as of right now. By the way, let me say this before I get into keys and also Dan Campbell's speech today about ski masks. But last night was the Thursday night football game. We saw the Minnesota Vikings, drop to 0-2, losing to Philadelphia. Real shame there, right? Vikings they got every break last year. Every break in close games. Now, their first two games, both close games, losses to Tampa Bay and Philly. They were in that game last night, not getting the breaks they got a year ago. And Justin Jefferson probably had a mild game for him and still had 9 catches for over 100 yards. But it was interesting watching last night. It was kind of like the former Lions coming out party. DeAndre Swift had a huge game last night. And look, it was one game. All right. I'm a Swift fan. I think he's a good football player. He's never healthy. All these people last night on Twitter going, oh, the Lions should never have traded DeAndre. Look what DeAndre Swift's doing. He had a good game. He's going to have more good games running behind that offensive line. Can we slow down with the Lions got fleeced by Howie Roseman and they should never have traded DeAndre Swift last year of his deal. He's trying to make all this money. He had a good game last night. He's a good player, but let's not go crazy. And TJ Hawkinson caught a couple of touchdowns last night for the Vikings. So that was kind of interesting. And my phone was blowing up with people saying, see, the Lions should have drafted Jalen Carter. Philadelphia wins with line play. It's amazing to see how good they are offensive line and defensive line. They're just so deep. Their rotation of defensive linemen is just insane how good it is. So many guys. Brandon Graham's like their last D lineman. I know he's been in the league a long time, the Detroit native and everything else, and played at Michigan, but he's like their third string edge. All right. Brandon Graham is starting on a lot of teams. But good game last night. Entertaining. Got down to a 1-score game a couple of times in the fourth quarter, which is all you can ask for. So Al Michaels wasn't bitching on Amazon about another blowout. Philly is not playing their best ball right now, but they're still 2-0. And the Vikings, of course, residing in the NFC North with the Lions, where those two teams will meet up two times in the last 3 weeks, off to an 0-2 start. And I'm already seeing a buzz of, well, what if the Vikings get to 0-4, 0-5? Would they trade Kirk Cousins to the Jets and just blow it up? Cousins in the last year of his deal. So that was interesting to read today on the old Twitter machine. All right, coming up next, I got 3 keys for the Lions to get a win Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks at home at Ford Field. Exciting times. Fans are going to be going nuts. It's going to be a great atmosphere. We will do all of that coming up next. I want to tell you about Gametime and getting some tickets. If you want tickets to the Lions and Seahawks game on Sunday, you can get them on the Gametime app, because buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. That's why Gametime is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They got killer deals on last-minute tickets, and their best price guarantee means you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you will have. Biggest thing that I like about the app, all right, and I have the app on my phone, images of seat views, all right? If you go to the Gametime app, they got the images so you know where you're sitting. Some of the other apps don't do it. I love that. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. You get those images at your seat, buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. All right. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, so the Lions are playing the Seahawks on Sunday. Seattle, of course. It was 1 year ago. Got help from the Lions in Week 18 and everything else, and got into the playoffs. And they were a great story, the Seahawks a year ago. And I think they wanted to build on that. They got a lot of good players. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker is a monster. We saw what he did to Michigan a couple of years ago at Michigan State. So this is not going to be an easy game for Detroit. And Geno Smith a year ago, and really the last two times the Lions have played the Seahawks, Seattle has put up over 500 yards of total offense. So the defense has got to be really, really on it. And that's where my first key comes in for today. And that is they got to get pressure on Geno Smith. And when they do get pressure on him, they got to finish the job. Last year, too many scrambles, too many opportunities for Geno to get out of the pocket, dance around and make plays. There should be no reason why the Lions don't put Geno Smith on the turf a lot on Sunday with Abe Lucas, their right tackle, Charles Cross, their left tackle, both out with injuries. No question about it. Pressure is going to be key in stopping Geno Smith. Get some heat on him, because when he's at his best is when he is in the pocket, surveying the situation and making throws. And he had a really, really improved season last year. Number two, again, left tackle. I don't know what the Lions are going to do, and I'm rooting for them not to, NOT in all caps, move too many people around, too many moving parts. And I know Dan Campbell said today and yesterday, like, they've got options and they're weighing all the options and they could do this and they could do that. To me, and I know Halapoulivaati Vaitai was originally signed by the Lions to be a tackle before, of course, they drafted Penei Sewell, but moving Vaitai from right guard to right tackle, moving Sewell from right tackle to left tackle, and then moving Graham Glasgow in. Yes, that's your best lineup in terms of talent, but why would we be doing that? Why would the Lions be doing that? I like Penei Sewell right where he is at right tackle with the footwork and what he's done. And you know he's worked at left tackle in practice, all right? But I'd rather give Matt Nelson the first shot at it at left tackle. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm doing this is the Lions are not playing Dallas, all right? Micah Parsons isn't coming off the edge. The Lions aren't playing Philadelphia. The Lions aren't playing Cleveland with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith, all right? They're playing Seattle. What's the biggest weakness that the Seahawks have? It's their defensive line. They didn't get any pressure last week on Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell, all right, took him behind the woodshed. So, to me, this is a spot, home game against a mediocre defensive line, where I would give Matt Nelson that first crack. Now, has Matt Nelson had been any great shakes being the backup left tackle or right tackle for this team over the last few years? No, but he's serviceable. He's solid. That would be my first choice for what the Lions are going to do. That is key number two. Key number three, and I said this yesterday on the show in the crossover with Corbin Smith. Composure. This is going to be a wild environment. It's going to be loud. The players are going to be juiced up and revved up because of the crowd. Keep your composure. The 4 penalties, and that's it, that the Lions had last Thursday is one of the biggest reasons why they won. And they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't make any mistakes. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. They didn't, jump off sides. There weren't any false starts. There weren't any major gaffes. Keep your composure. And Alex Kemp is the referee. Look up the numbers. He and his crew are flag happy. This officiating crew loves to throw the flags and throw them on the carpet. Last Thursday, what we have one whole entire penalty, whole penalty entire first half in the Lions and Chiefs game. It was nice to watch. So with Alex Kemp as a flag heavy official, he and his crew, the crowd, everything else, Lions have got to keep their composure. Seattle is going to try to junk it up at times. We saw what happened this past weekend with DK Metcalf cheap shotting one of the Rams defensive backs. There will be some trash talk back and forth. The Lions want to pay Seattle back for the last 2 times they played the Seahawks and got embarrassed. but keep your composure, keep the penalties down. And I think that will be a key in getting it done and getting a win this Sunday against the Seahawks. And again, Pete Carroll, man, very difficult to see a Pete Carroll coach team on back-to-back weeks struggle. So that's another thing that scares me about this game. All right, coming up next, Dan Campbell speaks today about the ski masks. We will tell you what he said coming up next. Locked on Lions is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right. This episode of Locked on Lions brought to you by BetterHelp. And listen, you want to talk to somebody, you're thinking about a therapist, you're thinking about all the rough times that you maybe have had lately. And yeah, I don't know if therapy's for me and everything else. It's something that maybe, you don't want to articulate to others. Well, I got the place for you. All right. Therapy and BetterHelp, they give you a place to kind of talk, do your thing, and can get you out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. That is why BetterHelp really is the place that you should try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. And all you do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. And if you don't like who you're talking to, you're not comfortable, you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Get a break from your thoughts with BetterHelp. All right. Trust me, great place to go. See if it's a match for you. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. And hey, Matt Dery here to tell you about our friends at PrizePicks. Oh my goodness gracious. PrizePicks is so much fun. All right. I've had winning up to 25 times my money this football season on my mind because you select just 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. All right. Testing my skills on PrizePicks this football season is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm going with Saquon Barkley for more than 60 yards. I'm going for Patrick Mahomes to bounce back with the Chiefs for more than 2 passing touchdowns. You can do the exact same thing at PrizePicks right now. They offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account for the entire season. All right. PrizePicks is the best. Players you want to select, you want to look at Amon-Ra St. Brown or Demo, David Montgomery, whatever you want, you can do it at PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNFL. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, so I was happy today when I saw this on social media, and I'm going to get the exact quote right now because I was excited. I was happy. Dan Campbell was asked about the ski masks, and of course, my phone immediately craps the bed. All right, Lions coach Dan Campbell. This is from Eric Woodyard, who covers the Lions for ESPN on his Twitter at Woodyard. Lions coach Dan Campbell joked with CJ Gardner-Johnson on asking fans to wear blue ski masks and said, quote, "Just remember, we've got kids coming to this game. And quote, let's keep it somewhat friendly here for the home opener on Sunday." I'm happy about that. I said this the other day, and I will reiterate it one more time, and then I'll drop it because I got a lot of get off my lawn and Homer Simpson stuff from you guys. And that's why I love the listeners. And please send your comments in on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. But I just don't love the idea of the ski mask. I think there's a negative connotation to it. I think the Lions have won 1 game this year. They're 8-0, do whatever you want. All right. But let's slow down. It's a good story. I'm not a fan. And yes, everybody in ski masks and kind of rallying around what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson said, which is we're kind of this badass team and hey, we're villains, right? We're villains. Brad Holmes said we're villains. I don't think they're villains. All right. I know on the field you want to be mean and tough, but I think this team is likable. And what Dan Campbell said today was, hey, look, we'll do the ski masks, but let's keep it low and let's reel it in a little bit and not turn this into a nasty environment at Ford Field. Yeah, we want to be loud and nasty toward the opposition, the Seahawks. But ski mask thing, you could tell today he didn't love it. And he's right. There are kids at the games. And I know that this isn't a family show that going to Ford Field to a game is not going to, Disney on Ice. I get that. But I'm glad Dan Campbell kind of said that, because I don't think they want to turn Ford Field into tons of arrests, tons of fights, ski mask gate, and everything else. Let's go play. Let's go win. And I do think the Lions are going to win, as I said yesterday. I like 34-27. I think both teams are going to score. I know a lot of people are talking about taking the under, but I think this could be high scoring. I think the Lions offense will play a lot better than they played last Thursday. All right. We are going to have a post-game pod Sunday following the game. I want to remind you, I want to tell you, I'm not going to do post-game pods every game this year. I'm going to do as many as I can. We're going to do Monday through Friday every day. That's what we are, your team every day. There will be some Sundays I just can't do it. So we will have one this Sunday. So tune in Sunday for the post-game pod. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. Again, please subscribe to Locked On Lions on our YouTube channel. Tell your friends about us. And we'll be back again Sunday, hopefully talking about a Lions win.